Wow. So.
Dude, what the hell?
You told me we were doing bourbon. You know where my brain goes.
Yeah, Bourbon, not Bourbon Street.
I don't like you anymore.
You did not want to see that.
Welcome back, everybody,
Hello.
to Below Decks. I'm Tom.
I'm Joe.
And I still don't like Joe because he messed with my brain. So, he told me we're doing bourbon. I'm a New Orleans weirdo. I just love the whole place, so I immediately thought Bourbon Street, and I came prepared for that, and he made me change clothes. So,
Yes.
We're good. All right, so Joe, tonight we're going to do bourbon. Welcome back to the show, and I'd like you to like, share, and subscribe to River Pirate Spirits on the website, the socials, and right down there at the bottom of the screen so you can get notifications every time we put something else out. So with the bourbon, we are basically going to do some Buffalo Trace products tonight, huh?
Yep, it's the favorite sons of E.H. Taylor.
All right. We do not have the regular Buffalo Trace. We do own it, but we didn't bring it tonight because, honestly, I'm not overly impressed with it. It's good.
It's fairly common. You've had it.
But you can get it. We do have their Buffalo Trace White Dog. This is the, what is this one?
Mash Bill number 1. It's low rye.
Okay. All right. So this is the one like everything's based off of, right?
A lot of them, yeah.
Okay,
Like
all right.
everything that we're going to talk about tonight is based on Mash Bill 1.
Blanton's.
Yes.
Everyone is hunting for it constantly.
Yes.
But we're going to talk to you about it later on.
Yes.
Eagle Rare. Now, this is a good one. We're going to give you a lot of good information. Both of us have tried Buffalo Trace, Blanton's, and Eagle Rare all side by side with palate cleansers in between. And I will personally tell you, Eagle Rare is my favorite of the three.
Same.
So,
yeah, same. When you go, if you go to the distillery, do Bourbon Trail in Kentucky, Buffalo Trace has the only free tasting. So, not that you're down there to be cheap, but you can do it a couple of times because it's free.
Yeah, and if you get the chance to taste all three of the big names right next to each other, why not take it? Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to teach you what we like about them, and you can move forward from there. Bourbon is such a huge topic, but we're going to try to get it mixed in here. So, what is bourbon? That some people ask that question all the time. Sometimes the answer some people give you is, bourbon's just American whiskey. Well, not exactly.
Not exactly.
All bourbons are American whiskeys, but not all American whiskeys are bourbon.
Yes.
Because bourbon has laws around it. Because it is our American spirit, it has to meet certain requirements. One of those requirements is that the mash bill must be a minimum of 51% corn. Cannot be 50, cannot be 49, minimum 51%. Yes. And honestly, some of my favorite bourbons are much higher than that. Some like 70, 80%.
The more the corn, the sweeter it's going to be.
Yes, because corn is a very sweet grain. It's going to make it sweet. It has to be aged in new American oak charred barrels for a minimum of 2 years.
Yep.
Cannot be French oak, cannot be English oak, must be American oak. And I'll tell you, 90% of that oak comes from the Ozarks.
Yeah, white oak from the part of the Ozarks from Kentucky and Missouri is where all these staves are going to come out of.
Yeah, it's what they use. They're going to start using Arkansas oak. I do know that because Independent Stave just opened a factory in Batesville, Arkansas. So they have Lebanon, Missouri, Lebanon, Kentucky, and Batesville, Arkansas. And they're going to be using oak from Missouri, Arkansas, and Kentucky to create those barrels. And it is going to basically be the same thing. If you've ever been to northern Arkansas, it's basically the same thing as southern Missouri. So you're going to have the same type of oak, same thing in there. Bourbon is not bottled in bond. You can get bottled in bond bourbon, but bourbon does not have to be bottled in bond. That bourbon goes into the barrel at 125 proof, no higher. It can go on lower, no higher than 125. It cannot come off the still at higher than 160 because 160 and above is considered neutral spirits. So when you're getting into that vodka and gin territory.
Yeah, moonshine.
Well, really, moonshine can come off lower.
It can.
Moonshine's just untaxed
unaged whiskey.
Yeah, unaged, untaxed whiskey. So, 160 is your minimum, or is your maximum off the still. 125 is your maximum into the barrel, and your minimum into the bottle for bourbon is 80 proof.
Yep.
So anything lower than that, you're getting into the liqueur range.
Southern Comfort.
Really, your best bourbons are in that 85 to 100 range.
Yeah.
You'll get some really good ones that are higher.
Yeah.
But
they're usually marked cask strength when you get up in the 110s, 120s.
Yeah. So you get in there. You'll see a few bourbons that are higher than that. I did run across one at Garrison Brothers that was bottled at 134 proof.
Okay.
But the reason for that is because it went in the barrel at 125, but through the aging process, it strengthened.
Okay.
And that the angel share pulled more water out than they expected.
Yes.
So it goes in the bottle at 134.8.
So those who don't know, when it sits in the rick house, just through aging, summer, winter, in and out, and alcohol is a volatile substance as it is. It's immediately evaporating as soon as you start making it. That will start escaping ever so little bits out of the barrel. Even though the barrel's very tight, some will escape. And then the distiller is paying taxes on the 53 gallons that went into the 55-gallon thing, and then he pops it open years later, sees that the water and some of the alcohol have evaporated out, and then that is where you get higher alcohol content by just sitting there.
Yeah, and that's why the older age whiskeys tend to be more expensive because there's just not as much of them in the barrel anymore.
Correct.
Now, you started with 53 gallons, you get an 18-year Scotch. And you might have
you're losing 2 to 4% a year. Yeah,
you might have 30% of what was originally put in that barrel, and they pay taxes on it that whole time. So they've got to recoup that money. So we're gonna move on and get into the whiskeys because that's why you guys are here. Yes. I do not believe we're gonna taste the White Dog tonight.
No,
and that's
just
really
decoration.
No reason to. Yeah, it's just one of those things. If you want to and you want to see where it all came from, have at it. Feel free. I'm not a big fan of unaged bourbon because there's so much of the flavor comes from the aging.
Yeah.
I mean, this tastes like hot corn water.
Yeah, there's a special on one of the streaming channels, probably Netflix, called Neat, and you can see Freddie from Buffalo Trace, and he'll pour it in people's hands, and they rub the alcohol out of it, and then they can smell the ingredients. It's just that close to the ingredient. It's
right. And then it's completely unaged.
Yeah.
There's a place for it in the market. And there's people who love using it. It's not my favorite thing, but it's nice to have on hand. So we're going to get into what are we going to go first with? I know you...
I'm going to run a comparison on Eagle Rare and Buffalo Trace. Okay. And then we're going to do just a flat-out tasting of Eagle Rare and Blanton's.
Okay.
All of these come from Grandpa here. White Dog #1. It's the low rye. So E.H. Taylor founded the Buffalo Trace distillery. He also helped write, if he didn't write, but he was a big proponent of the Bottled and Bond Act in 1897, the forefather of our FDA. So the first law we had was about whiskey. It's about Kentucky whiskey. It's just very near and dear to us.
I do like the fact you mentioned Kentucky whiskey.
Yes.
Because one thing I didn't touch on earlier that I did want to get into when it comes to whiskeys, Kentucky whiskey is not Tennessee whiskey. There is a difference. I will fully admit that the mash bill, the process generally of Tennessee whiskey, Jack Daniels, we all know what it is basically a bourbon. But it cannot be classified as bourbon because it has one additional step, which is called the Lincoln County process. Where they take the White Dog as it comes out of the still before it's aged, they filter it through charcoal. That is what makes it not bourbon. Bourbon can't have that done to it.
News to me.
I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but it was one thing I did want to get into. Tennessee whiskey and bourbon are not the same thing.
I'm getting my learn on. All right. So first, when you have, all right, so Buffalo Trace and Eagle Rare come from here. Mash bill number 1, low rye. Your Buffalo Trace is going to be it doesn't have an age statement, but it's pretty much agreed upon that it's 7 to 9 years old. Eagle Rare is 10 years old, and it has an age statement on it. They're low rye, they're going to be sweeter. So when you look at these flavor profiles that snooty people and consigliere, like the sommeliers, the little flavor wheel that they understand, they're gonna have a lot of, and also Blanton's is gonna have a lot of the same thing because it came from the same mash. They're gonna be low in rye, so they're gonna be sweet. They're both gonna have sugar. The Eagle Rare is gonna have a darker, richer nose, palate, finish, all of it as you would expect because it spent more time in the barrel. So it's gonna have the darker fruits instead of like light pears. It's going to have some darker cherries.
More like currants and cherries. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
They're both going to have corn. The Eagle Rare has more of a woody taste, which is to be expected. It's set in the barrel longer. The Buffalo Trace is going to be a little spicier. It hasn't mellowed out. That also makes sense. And then it's also going to be a little more floral. They're both going to have vanilla because they sit in the same type of barrel that comes out of Lebanon, Kentucky, and Missouri. And it's gathering the same tannins and doing that. So I would like to delve into our Eagle Rare
and see what we taste.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the bottle, it's got kind of a dark color. We'll see if it's just the label's playing a trick on my mind. Sorry about that.
All right. No, well, we got the white paper.
Yeah.
That'll tell us if it's darker or not. Yeah, that is much darker.
It's a big change for our St. Patrick's Day whiskeys.
Oh yeah, when we did that St. Patty's Day episode, I'm not remembering a lot about that. So that was an interesting evening. But I do remember I made a comment about how the Irish whiskeys were much lighter than the bourbons in color.
Yeah.
This has a nice copper color to it.
Yeah, copper.
So, and then if you guys don't remember, keep a white piece of paper somewhere in your bar if you're going to do some tasting.
Yeah.
That way you can see that color really nice behind there.
Yeah. Hold it up to a light, see if you see floaties and stuff. If it's filtered, the label will tell you, and this happens to be filtered, so you shouldn't see floaties. But they're not bad. If you have a whiskey with them, that's not bad.
You know what that nose, the first thing I get, it makes the back of my tongue water like a tart apple.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fruity, but not like a fruit snack fruity. It's like these heavier fruits.
Yeah. But there is darker fruits there. Like there's plums there too. I wonder if that's what's making me, because like a sour plum, and that makes your mouth water.
Yeah.
And that's there too.
All right, let's try it out. That's sweeter than the nose.
Yeah, it's very sweet. Yeah, and honestly, of the family, of the Buffalo Trace family, I prefer Eagle Rare.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really do. It's my favorite of the three if I can find it.
Yeah. It doesn't burn on the way down. It doesn't have that. It's less alcohol-y than your Buffalo Trace. And Buffalo Trace is a very excellent whiskey. We're not dogging on it by any means.
No. And if you can find it, grab it.
Yes,
it's great.
I've paid too much for Buffalo Trace in the past, plenty of times.
If you're paying over $30 a bottle, you're getting into the territory of secondary market. Generally, where I'm at, Buffalo Trace, we can pick up anywhere from 28 to 32. If I can find it less than that, I will snatch up every bottle I can find on the shelf.
Yeah.
So.
In an Eagle Rare, if you buy it, if you go to Buffalo Trace and buy it off the shelf, you're talking like $30-$35.
I buy it in New Orleans for $35.
And if you see it on the shelf around here for $50, seems to be the going rate.
I have not seen that in a store for under $100 in a year.
Those people are delving into the secondary market, which check all my other episodes.
We will preach about the secondary market and how it's unethical, and you should just sell it for what it's there for.
If you have a stone and mortar shop, then you need to sell it for stone and mortar price.
Yes. So if you have somebody on the internet that wants to pay higher for it, buyer beware. But if you're getting it from a distributor, you should just sell it for what the MSRP is. And there should be some money in it for you, but you don't need to be financing your kid's college on a bottle of whiskey.
Exactly. And just wait around the next spot. You'll find a bottle at MSRP. When you go to stores that say ABC on the end, like when you go to Kentucky, that's Alcoholic Beverage Commission. That means it's run by the government. They might not have what you want on the shelf, but whatever they have on the shelf is the right price.
And if you ever have a buddy who's in the military,
PX.
have them check the PX and the commissaries because they are required to sell at MSRP.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and thank you to all the vets who are helping us with this.
Yes. I just like love this whiskey.
I know.
I mean, it's my favorite bourbon to just sit with.
I think everybody wants to sit and watch us drink this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're not going to torture you guys.
It is excellent. We haven't opened one up all night.
Yep.
And I'm going to give it a little...
Remember, rinse your glass out, clean that out. You see me doing this all the time, roll it out. Clean that glass out, clean that palate.
Yeah, I diluted it. I didn't open it up. Mm-hmm. Shame on me.
I don't open up Eagle Rare. I love how it tastes straight up.
Yeah.
I don't even put an ice cube in it. This is if I can keep it on my bar, this is my backyard, light a fire, smoke a cigar, and just chill out.
Absolutely. If I'm going American, this is exactly what he said. Mm-hmm. If I'm going Irish, I have a whole other episode on it.
Yep. And you guys can check on that too. So.
All right. We're going to have to check on Blanton's.
We're going to come on through with the Blanton's next. Okay, so we've gone through the Eagle Rare. Now we're going to get into...
their flagship.
It's the flagship. Honestly, I mean, I like it. I just don't think it's worth the hype.
No,
it's good. Don't get me wrong. Blanton's is an excellent whiskey. I'm not going to shame anyone for liking it.
No, I like it.
Everyone has a different palate. I like it. I keep a bottle of it on my bar as long as I can. I just think it's just like Pappy. It's a big marketing ploy.
Yeah. It's a big hype.
We're going to go through the tasting notes with you.
Mm-hmm.
You, like I said, taste Buffalo Trace, taste Eagle Rare, taste Blanton's all side by side, and you may find that you like the Blanton's better.
Yeah, a lot of people do, clearly, or wouldn't have had a side market.
Right. I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong because everyone's palate is different. I know what I like. I'm going to drink what I like, and so should you.
Yeah. So from mash bill number 1, low rye. This is from barrel number 724. Rick number, so the Rick House is the warehouse. Rick number 74. It's going to be 93 proof.
And this was dumped on July 7th of 2022.
Yes. So
just a bit.
Yeah, I know.
So that's fine.
Going heavy on you all night.
It's good. So it's not like St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
So we can go there.
All right. So. People collect these tops, and if you go there, you can buy a stave, and you can make it spell out Blanton's. It's all part of the gimmick and the knick-knack.
If you don't know what the deal is, every one of these tops, the jockey's slightly different, and there's a different letter down here by the back foot of the horse. And if you collect all of them, it spells out the word Blanton's, and you can send it back to Buffalo Trace. You get them all together, you ship them back to Buffalo Trace. They will put them in a stave for you and then ship it back to you for a display piece. Yeah, if it's your thing, good.
It's gimmicky. It's a good little man cave thing.
It's one of those things. And it's a bragging piece because some of the letters are rarer than others. Mm-hmm. And the way Blanton's is allocated, it could take a while to figure it out. And trust me, I know what the secondary market prices on this type of stuff are. That you've spent a pretty penny if you've got all the letters. So good on you.
Some people are charging $200 a bottle for this.
Yeah. Look,
I got this at Buffalo Trace for $62. That's as MSRP as you can get. It's right out of the distillery. So $62. If you're paying more than that, if you're paying more than $70, don't.
Yeah. It's but I mean, like I said, if you really like it, if you think it's the best bourbon you've ever tasted, and you want to pay $200 a bottle for it, that's on you.
Good
but
on you.
Know you're kind of like screwing everybody else because people are going to drive those prices up, and
they're not going to come down until you start drinking Eagle Rare and Buffalo Trace, which is the same mash bill. All right, I'm sorry, off the high horse. Let's talk about the color of this
It's lighter.
beautiful whiskey.
I mean, it is. It's
Lighter
pretty.
than Eagle.
It's lighter than Eagle Rare.
Not
It's
by
dark.
much.
It's about the same color as Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
I'd say it's got that deep honey.
Deep honey, slightly lighter than copper.
Yeah, it's not that agave color of some of the Irish whiskeys. It's darker than honey, but not. It's darker than tea.
Yeah. For watchers that are new, in general, the darker the whiskey, the heavier the whiskey, the heavier the taste. The lighter the whiskey, the lighter the taste. In general.
Any of you who are veterans, I will tell you the color of this is right when your piss starts getting concerning. So yeah, if you've ever been in those situations, I don't mean to be crass, but those of you who have been in the service, when they tell you to start getting worried about the color, that's the color this is.
Yeah.
All right.
I've poured many a canteen over my head, so I can get this joke.
Yep. So let's see what we got here. It's citrusy and caramely. There's caramel there on the nose.
There is. Wow, that is a burst of citrus. I actually really love it.
Yeah, I mean the caramel.
I'm about ready to take back my words and be like, I'm buying it for $200. It's really good. A little spicy for being so high in corn, being low rye. I'm kind of getting this spice that I didn't think I'd get. It's not high rye.
I've been told that it's very like raisiny. I mean, I get it. I can get a raisin flavor on it, but it's not powering.
No.
It's not like, I've talked to guys who are like, dude, it's like firing back a box of raisins. I'm like, no, it's not.
No.
I mean, I get more caramel.
Caramely.
Yeah.
Burnt caramel.
Yeah. Well, the burnt.
That's the charred barrel it's in. It's not like they burn the caramel, but there's no caramel in it at all. That's the magic of whiskey.
I get burned sugar. I get like burned sugar on the back end.
I am too.
Like you've left that. You guys know I make my own syrups, and yes, I have forgotten about a pot on the stove once in a while. And when you burn sugar, there's a very distinct nose and scent in the air, and I'm getting that in the back of my throat when on the finish.
It's addicting.
Yeah.
Every time I taste it, I want to smell it again.
It's good. It's very good, but you know what? If I'm at a bar or I'm at the bar, I'm not buying shots at bars because they just jack the price up.
I'm old now.
It is. I know what it costs to actually make a cocktail, and it just makes me angry.
Yeah.
If I'm at a liquor store and they have both of these bottles on the shelf and they tell me I can only buy one, I'm buying the Eagle Rare.
Yeah. Same.
And that if they tell me I can have both, I'm gonna buy both. My wife's gonna yell at me. It just is what it is.
It's a really good whiskey.
Yeah, it's a good whiskey. I just don't.
I think I dog it because of the secondary market.
Yeah.
If this was underpriced, I'd be like, you all are missing out on the best underpriced whiskey ever.
I'll pay $100 for it.
Yeah.
I'll pay $100.
Yeah.
Because I'll pay $100 for Eagle Rare. Mm-hmm. But anything over $100, I'm not going to.
Oh, no way. Yeah. I'd be pushing it 100.
Yeah. So. But we'll stop preaching. Drink what you like. We love it. Mm-hmm. So get in there, get out there, see what you like, taste them side by side. Don't buy into the hype machine, and you'll learn more in the long run. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna find out what we're gonna do next. I'm not gonna do a cocktail this week because there are just too many bourbon cocktails out there. There's old fashions, there is mint juleps, there's whiskey sours. Pretty much anything out there could be made with bourbon.
There's so many bourbons you just don't want in a cocktail.
Right.
You can go on for days.
I would not make a cocktail with either of these because they're just too good.
Mm-hmm.
I would find something a little lower end. My general mixer for a bourbon cocktail is Four Roses Yellow Label.
Yeah.
If I'm going to make a cocktail with...
I'll do a Knob Creek.
Yeah.
They've never let me down.
Yeah, I'll go in with those. If you want to see some recipes for bourbon cocktails, check us out on our socials.
And you do.
For the Instagram, the Twitter, Facebook. I'll be putting some up there. I really do like using a lot of bourbon cocktails. I play around with my old fashions a lot because I make my own bitters and my own syrups, and then you can really change an old fashioned. You can use the same bourbon and just change it up with those things. So, in closing, like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on all the socials. riverpiratespirits.com. There are links at the bottom of the page to every one of them. Our outro music and our intro music is brought to you by Tim Session, a song called Equilibrium. I have been drinking way too much bourbon tonight, so I'm going to say that again. Equilibrium. Tim Session, great local artist. If you can find him in the St. Louis area, I highly recommend going and seeing him. And thank you for coming back to River Pirate Spirits. Thank you for coming below decks with us. Check out the cargo hold as it comes out on the Facebook page every now and then. It's going to be tied to a national day of a specific liquor.
He's housed.
Yeah, I've been drinking way too much tonight. Cargo hold. I'm going to find national days of liquors. I'm going to make you a cocktail. Quick 5-6 minute videos. Teach you how to use it, how I use it, and you can enjoy it. So, welcome to Below Decks. Thank you for coming along with us. Cheers.
Cheers.
The first time I felt this way in all of my life. Leave it up to balance this steer, where my mind is still unclear. All the thoughts in my head, I can still remember what's